Nice. Okay, all is well. All is well. All right. Here we go. John in his tiny chair. Bo in his long flowing hair.
Yep. A little chair.
Yep. Flowing hair.
MC Scott Johnson.
Little hair. And what rhymes with hair and chair that I can be?
Fair, care, bear, snare,
lair, rare.
Rare. No.
Debonair.
No.
Monfrere.
No.
Share.
No. Oh, that's Madonna. Never mind.
Garrett Wine Circle.
Garrett Wine Circle. I like it. All right. Doesn't matter what I rhyme with. Let's do a show. Here we go. It starts in 3, 2, 1. Hey everybody, welcome to Core. This is Core episode, that doesn't matter, but I'll tell you anyway, 209. It's episode 209. It's Wednesday, February 5th, 2019. Nope, 2020. And we're here, we're doing it, we're making it happen. We've got all we need to make that happen. Yeah, woo! That's what I'd say. I'm in a good mood today, and I don't know why. No reason to be, really. It's kind
Bo's got a hat.
Yeah, Bo's got a hat. Got his cowboy hat on.
Yep.
He's going down the Old Town Road.
Justified edition.
Yeah. Pretty good.
I heard they're remaking Justified. I'm hoping they'll cast me in the lead role.
Yeah, you're going to be Bo Givens, and you're going to stop crime in its tracks. That's your job in the new version of that show.
Have no patience for anything. Just going to shoot you.
Yeah, and then John over there. John is in a wide angle, but you wouldn't know it because I've cropped him. But it's cracking us up just a slightly at how much we can see of you. We don't normally get all this like background info and stuff. There's all sorts of stuff.
Yeah. Look at all the stuff.
Yeah. Chat room really can't see it, but...
Got a questionable chair and many odds and ends.
Questionable Chair is my favorite band I ever performed in. All right, check this out. That's actually a decent band name, Questionable Chair. Mm-hmm. I'd see them in concert. That'd be fine.
I mean, there's a silver chair.
Is there?
So why not a questionable one?
Who's Silverchair? Wait. Oh, no, I know who that is.
Silverchair was an Australian, I don't know, Nirvana ripoff, kind of.
Wait,
so
what
maybe
do they
the
do?
music was good, and that's a super unfair thing to say. Sorry if you're listening.
Sing me a song. Silver.
Oh, I don't know any of it. I'm Silverchair.
I'm a freak. Oh, that's them. I'm a winner.
I swear, they're Australian. I remember they're Australian. Actually, there's a song here called "Freak" by Silverchair.
Yeah, and I was doing Radiohead's the popular Radiohead song. Okay, hold on. We're gonna play a tiny bit of it so that we don't get in trouble. Hold on, just a little bit. Yeah. Okay.
It literally sounds like Nirvana.
Yeah.
If you're like, name the band and played that clip, I'd be like, Nirvana?
It's a little Nirvana-ish. I don't want to play too much, but that was 2012. They've been around. Okay, well, you knew more about that band than I ever did, and now I know more about them than I ever did, so well done. Anyway, hey, we're here to talk about video games, the world of games, news around games we're playing, all that fun stuff. That's what Core does. There's still people. I got this again today. 2 emails that said, when did Core stop being about heroes? I wasn't interested in heroes, but now I love hearing you guys talk about video games. How come you didn't tell nobody? I'm like, no, that's what we did. We told, everybody got told here on the show, but I guess I don't advertise it enough. So I'm going to do better about making sure people know after all this time that Core does like a bigger, broader thing now, and it may bring, that may be interested to be.
Did they sign their email? Please read in a slightly twangy accent.
No, but did I just do
that?
They
sent that to you.
I just did it, didn't I? I didn't mean to do that. I always do that when someone sends a troubling email. I do it in a Southern accent. That's bad. That's stereotypical.
But it's just fun to do the voice, guys. It isn't meant to be insulting.
Yeah,
it is.
It's actually kind of fun to talk like I'm from the South.
I just think that it's sometimes more fun to just turn it on its head. You should next time, if somebody sends you something and you're like, this is a little silly, read it with a fancy posh British accent.
Okay.
And if somebody sends you something extremely smart, add a good old Southern twang to it.
Okay. All right.
Just see how it all turns
Just swap
out.
it. Just swap it around.
You should do German sometimes too.
Oh, I love doing German. German's one of my favorites. But it has to be the right moment, has to be the right thing. Can't just pull it out.
If it's not nihilistic, you believes in nothing, Lebowski.
Yeah. Oh, did you know that Jesus movie's out? The one about the
Oh
bowler?
no, I want to see that.
Hold on. Let's see how the Rotten Tomatoes is doing with it.
I am the Jesus.
Hold on. What's it called?
Jesus, right?
No,
Jesus?
something.
This is called Jesus.
Rolling Jesus. Hold on. Rolling.
John Turturro, right?
Yes.
So maybe find it by him or something.
Jesus. Gosh dang it, I can't.
John
Oh, here it is. The Jesus Rolls. That's what it's called. And it is currently no reviews yet. Oh, there's 2, but we'll see. So it's being directed by John Turturro, not by the Coens, although it has their blessing. And it is based on this character, who is ever so briefly in.
Wasn't he a bowling pedophile?
Yeah, he had to go door to door. Or no, he wasn't an actual pedophile. It just turned out that somebody said she was over 18 but wasn't, or something like that. So he was required to go door to door and tell everybody. And so that great scene where he had to go knock on doors, dude. The Big Lebowski is truly great. One of the greatest films ever made.
It really is. I saw it in the theater. I see so few films in the theater. I cherish the memory.
I did too. What was this, like 98 or something? What was it?
It was a long time ago.
98, 94, 5, 8, 7, somewhere in the 90s. Anyway, so back to where we were. Where were we? Oh, video games. Let's talk about them. So Sony has been just dropping little like a little bread trail for a while about the PlayStation news, and since we know they're not going to be at E3, this doesn't surprise me all that much to know that they're sort of just kind of dinking around with us a little bit.
Yeah, it's been weird though.
It's
been the way it's been coming out is it's been like every time they have something new that they're just like, all right, and we can confirm that now.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, okay, send out a tweet.
Mm-hmm.
Like there's no pomp, no circumstance. It's just like, hey everybody, we were thinking about it. We're gonna do a PlayStation 5.
Do you think they know? They just know we're gonna. I mean, we're all gonna just like they don't need to do anything else, right? They kind of know that.
I guess they don't, but it's weird. It feels weird because it just feels like they're sitting around in a boardroom and they're like, so what are we sure on? Well, we've got some of the specs. All right, I don't know. Send the specs out to a website. They can publish them. They can do whatever. Do you want to announce it or anything? No, just send it out. It's fine.
It's interesting.
We got a website. Hey, we got a logo. We made the 4 or 5.
Yeah.
Like, it's just everything they've done so far has been like white background, Arial font, business memo, PlayStation 5. We would like you all to know.
Yeah, it is weird. It says on their website, they've got this website now, which is the PS5 sort of URL extension thing on their normal site, the PlayStation.com site. It says, I just signed up for their newsletter so I can find out when this thing's coming out or whatever. I probably just signed up for a lot of spam I don't want. But anyway, it says, we've begun to share some of the incredible features you can expect from PlayStation 5. But we're not quite ready to fully unveil the next generation of PlayStation. Sign up below to be among the first to receive updates as we announce them, including news on the PlayStation 5 release date, PS5 price, and the upcoming roster of PS5 launch games. So there you go.
Yeah, this is real matter of fact. That's our website.
Mm-hmm. I mean, I'm excited, but
yeah,
it's a weird, different kind of rollout for sure. Whereas Microsoft, being at E3, they've got a chance there to make a big splash with stuff, but they've already shown their box. Don't do that on the internet. Don't show your box on the internet. It'll haunt you forever. You'll never get another job. Don't do it. Anyway. Right, you'll get a certain kind of job. Anyway, the point is, nothing else. This is just them being all slow and pokey. There's probably a tactic to this, There's probably a strategy going on here that I don't fully understand. But
I think it's the teacher calls on you for an answer, and you go, yeah. The answer is, while you're furiously flipping through your book for a miracle to happen because you don't know the answer.
You think so? You think they're not they're launching this holiday. That's confirmed.
I don't know. In this culture of like E3, games will put out stuff that's just barely in development.
Yeah.
Xbox seems pretty comfortable.
Yeah.
This doesn't read as comfortable. Could be nothing. I'm not an insider, but it looks to be like, yeah, we got something too. Launching in 2020. Here's a JPEG of the PS5 logo.
I mean, I guess you're not wrong. I just assumed from their leadership position of this generation that they are more prepared, but maybe they aren't. I hadn't really thought of that. I hadn't looked at it from that from that perspective, but maybe they're less ready and they're relying on the fact that they are in leadership position, that they don't have to do stuff as quickly. So, it's bought them some time. I don't know.
I put it in as a punchline and not really an article to cover so much, but Phil Spencer be like, PS5, we're worried about Amazon and Google.
I wouldn't say those words. If I was him, I wouldn't have said that, because here's why. I understand why he's saying it, and it's a great way to diminish your main competition. I totally get it. People do it all the time. But I wouldn't have said it because, A, it may actually end up being true, and you're just ruffling some feathers. Or B, it's not true at all, and Sony's going to eat your lunch this generation. Or C, you're puffing Amazon up for no reason. What are they doing? They got an MMO they've been working on for 6 years, but they don't have anything else. Let's even talk about it.
I think Phil Spencer, though, is looking at a potential long game. Like, I'm assuming PlayStation 5 might come out and even beat Xbox this generation. But Xbox is playing a long game where Sony is just making a new box. Nintendo's just making a new box. And that works for Sony and Nintendo today. But that's not gaming of tomorrow. When he said he's trying to reach gamers everywhere throughout the world, in places where it's hard to sell boxes. And I don't know what that means, but it just seems like it's like his comment just strikes me as Neo going like, what's up with the spoon? And Morpheus is like, that's no spoon. No, wait, that's not it. You think that's air?
No, that's not how it went.
My favorite scene of the Matrix.
Phil Spencer's basically Morpheus going, you think that's air you're breathing? And then the CEO of Sony's like, whoa. I don't know if Phil's right, but that seems to be the play Phil's making.
Yeah, and it's probably the right one for them to make in the position that they're in. But also, let's play this, because it could be, completely out there. But the long game theory is a decent one. And you know what? Microsoft's got the pockets to do it if they want to dig in for what they think is truly going to be the big fight. Maybe that fight is cloud stuff, and certainly Amazon will be a player in that. Who knows? I don't know. But I want to see more of it. I want to see the actual box. I can tell you, I can't say their name, but I know somebody who works at a developer, a big one, who has had both of these in their hands. So they have physically looked at, and messed around with both boxes, and the PlayStation 5 and the other one, and had a couple things to say that I'm not allowed to say here. However, it does seem significant that it actually exists. Now, maybe in a form that's going to change, or maybe they got early dev kit versions that aren't quite the same, or I don't actually know that for sure. But by all intents and purposes, it sounds like what he got is final PS5 hardware. So,
yeah, you remember when Xbox was going to be a giant silver X-shaped console?
Yes, I remember wanting that, by the way.
It looked really cool. Probably not anymore. If you look it up now, it's probably
what's
not
great
great
about that is if a burglar breaks into your house, you can use it as a ninja star.
Oh my gosh! I mean, that's a great use case. I love it. Yeah. Hold on, what? But John, do you have find a version of that? Somebody have a picture of that? I want to put that up.
The original Xbox.
Yeah, I can't find it, but it was like a concept art that was actual Microsoft art, right? It wasn't some.
But if it's an X, it's not a box anymore.
Well, it was still a box. Oh, I see what you mean. Yeah, by its very nature, it's no longer a box. Yeah.
It should be an X.
All right, I found a picture.
Did you put that in the chat room? I want to see. I want to blow it up here.
Let's see. Click to copy the link. I know how Google Images works. I did it.
Yeah,
I'm gonna make boardroom meetings where they have these designs and they're not shaped like a box. Does some exec say, "I like the design, but it's not a box"? They're like, "Oh, dang it! We really painted ourselves into a corner with this." Yeah, no kidding. This
box thing.
And look at the latest version is the most box I've ever seen.
Dude, this thing is boxy as hell. Wow. I think I like it.
It is pretty good, right?
Yeah, I think I like it.
Except, like, the second you touch it, it's just Fingerprint City.
Yeah, because it's all silvery and smooth. I don't think that would have flown. But compared to what we ended up with, I like this a lot. just because it's cool, man. Just cool. Look at that monolithic structure. It's like, I am in your living room. Brr, like just intense.
Yeah.
Oh, there's an actual, someone has one of these? Oh. There's a prototype exists, not just 3D renders.
Oh yeah, yeah. They built versions of this.
I want one of these.
What game are you gonna play on your? Yeah, look at those fingerprints.
Yeah, it's bad. What was that mech? What was that mech game everybody used to hack their Xbox? Do you remember the name of that? It's like Mech Walker.
Mech Assault.
Mech Assault, was that it?
Maybe.
Everyone always talks about that, how that was the disc that let you hack your thing, and that's great and all. Had that weird code insertion stuff and all that. But I liked that game because it was a rad mech game, and I would play that again. I really liked that game. I would totally
Are you talking about Steel Battalion, the one with the massive controller?
Not that. That's for weirdos. I mean, I'm sure it was cool for those who liked it, but I really liked. I liked that other thing. Yeah, and that old controller, man, what a beast. There's a lot about the original Xbox that has, there are question marks about some of the design decisions, but man,
persevered, though.
Oh yeah, they totally did. They stuck it out. And 360 controllers were a huge step up, although the D-pads were mushy garbage on those. And then the Pro Controller thing they put out for a while, they're still in the 360 era, was a huge improvement for that. But Xbox One controllers, they're great. It's like the final form. It's you got it. You finally got it, guys. You nailed it. And it's a great controller. I think, other than that dumb touchpad, I think PlayStation 4 controllers are my favorite. How they feel, especially the D-pad. If you're using D-pad enabled, games that may use it or whatever, but those two in general, those are great controllers. Nothing wrong with those.
You know what was not a good controller as far as function, but as far as like how it felt in my hand, I always loved was the GameCube controller.
Oh yeah, dude.
That thing just felt like it was a part of me when I held it.
It was great.
It wasn't a good controller. I'm not going to stand up there and say like, yeah, one analog stick and a weird C stick. That's the way to go. But man, that controller felt comfortable to hold.
I mean, the thing is, though, you say that, but they're now selling new versions of it for the Switch for Super Smash Brothers because players have demanded it. So an actual Nintendo licensed wireless and wired, I guess, because people want the latency cut down version of that thing is available for people who want to play Smash with it. So I mean, it's still, I think a lot of people still think it's their favorite controller maybe ever. So I think I also really liked it. I think it needed two sticks. I don't know why they didn't do that. That weird C stick thing was terrible.
Yeah.
But everything else about that controller was great.
The double press of L and R I wasn't a fan of.
Oh.
It felt okay, but then as soon as you hit that double press and it did like a weird click, all of a sudden it felt like a toy.
Yeah. I mean, that thing's pretty plasticky, right?
Yeah. It had some weird things, but if they did like a pro version of that.
Yeah.
Or the Wavebird was great.
Yeah.
Remember when everybody thought like the Wavebird was the pinnacle of technology? That was a controller.
Still might be.
Yeah.
Still might be.
Maybe.
Well, I guess they all do what they do now.
Yeah, they're all kind of wireless.
They're just wireless and have rumble and stuff like that. Actually, the Wavebird didn't not have rumble. You had to use the rumble pack to make it rumble, or did it rumble?
I don't think the Wavebird rumbled.
I don't think it did.
I think that was what you sacrificed for your ability to have wireless.
Yeah, I think that's right. And for some reason, I had it in my head that was N64 era, but no, the Wavebird was absolutely just GameCube, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And the best part was that it used channels, so instead of doing like the weird sync button thing, you would actually have to go up to your GameCube and there was a little dial on the thing that plugged into the controller port, and you'd rotate it and match it up with your controller to make sure you were both on the right channel.
Which is pretty great.
Yeah.
If
Old
you think
technology.
about it. Yeah. Those were the days. That was living. Here, chat room, take a look at your old friend, the GameCube. Here he is. I
just remember it.
What I liked about it was it was
a little briefcase.
It was weirdly portable. Like if I was going to my brother-in-law's house or something and we were going to play over there, I just grab it by the back of that thing and go. Like it was awesome. I love that thing. Anyway, whatever. Nintendo still killing it. PS5.
It was a weird little briefcase, and you could plug in 4 controllers to it.
Yeah, it built in.
Yeah.
Like
which was also crazy. It was fun for party games.
It was the ultimate Mario Kart, Super Smash Brothers, Melee machine. Like it just was so good at those things, and it just excelled at that. So even though it took kind of a distant third, it was kind of tied with the OG Xbox, wasn't it? I think.
Yeah, I'd say they probably had their comparisons.
Sony destroyed everybody is the point. They just PS2 just ate everybody's cheese and then spit it back in their face and then ate it again and then bit their nose off and then chewed that up and then spit that back in their face. And the other two companies tried to readjust their chewed up nose to make it seem like a real nose again, and then Sony bit it off and ate it again and then spit it out again. I mean, that's how bad it was. It was a freaking slaughter in that generation, which began with the the Dreamcast getting murdered, just shot right in the back of the head. In came Sony, dead.
Did DVD have a lot? Because did Xbox did it play DVDs or no?
I think it did, didn't it?
Yeah, it did.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, PlayStation, Xbox,
it was like,
and
I don't need a DVD player because I've got a PlayStation 2.
Yeah,
it's a DVD player.
I think that was a lot of people's first DVD players was their PS2s. I know it was mine.
Mm.
And the very first DVD I ever watched was The Whole Nine Yards.
Wow. First DVD player I ever got was a crappy, well, I say crappy, I think it was like $400 at the time, and I don't know why I even did it, but we bought a DVD player in 1998, and the first movie I bought for it and watched on it was The Fifth Element.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, that seemed right and good, and it was like a $30 DVD at the time. And then the second movie that we got and watched on it was Nightmare Before Christmas. And then there was a huge gap of time where I didn't buy a single DVD until they started being like $12, and then that was the thing I would do. Yeah.
DVD is a pretty stupid name, though, right?
DVD.
Overall?
You know what it stands for? People think it's digital video disc, and it's not. It's
no idea.
It's digital versatile disc. Did you know that?
No,
I do now.
Yeah, a little fun fact for you.
Something.
Yep, you'd lose in a if you were. I think actually somebody got it wrong on Jeopardy once. The question was, this is the words that make up DVD or whatever. And the guy said digital video disc. Incorrect. And then the other guy got it. Anyway, fun stat, fun note. But I remember remember that DivX thing? That was a nightmare. We don't have to talk about that, but that was the thing.
Yeah, I do.
Yeah, that was real dumb.
I also remember a lot of PlayStation 2s didn't work, and then a lot of Xbox 360s didn't work.
Mm-hmm.
The whole red ring.
Yep.
Thing.
It was bad. It turns out optical discs and cooling systems and spinning fans are not cool. Like back in the Genesis SNES days, it was great because it's solid state, man. You just, they didn't overheat because the chips didn't get hot. They just did what they did, and you never had to worry about it. And there was no moving parts, and it was great. And then, I guess the last time that happened was N64. I replaced my PlayStation 1 twice.
Oh my god!
That thing broke twice, and then it was always disc related, always that drive. And then the Xbox One or Xbox OG kind of had, I think, a pretty good run of it, but the 360 was just notoriously busted, despite its leadership in that particular generation. My PS3 ran loud but never failed, ran forever, and my PlayStation 4 is also not that loud and runs fine. But it's now slow and old because there's something new coming. So there's that.
It's garbage.
We've talked about that before. Exactly.
You want to know a fun thing you can do that I learned about today while I was looking for news stories that we're ignoring to talk about old things, and this is no exception.
Yeah.
I found out how you can find the very first thing you ever streamed on Netflix.
Oh, what? How?
And I now know the very first thing I watched streaming, which I don't even remember ever seeing the movie.
How do you do this? Wait, tell me how you do it while you're talking about it. How do you do it?
Okay, so you go to the Netflix website.
Okay, I'm going to Netflix.
And then you're going to go to your account.
Okay, I'm going to my
little icon account.
Okay.
You're going to do viewing activity.
Okay, here we go.
Scroll down and do download all. Otherwise, you're going to just have to do show more. And it will download a Excel file that you can just scroll to the bottom of very quickly.
Where's download all? Okay.
Yeah. So, fun fact, I have apparently streamed 3,908 things on Netflix.
Holy crap.
Starting on November 29th of 2008 with the very first thing being the movie Dan in Real Life, which I don't remember anything about.
Wow.
Is
That's
that a bad
amazing.
movie?
I don't
No,
know.
it's a
I
good.
don't
It's
remember
actually
it at all.
it's a good movie. It's kind of a rom-com, but it's a good movie. So that could be way worse. I think that's fine.
I followed it up with Mega Man Upon a Star Episode 1.
All right, now
Don't
you're
know
in
what
trouble.
There it is.
that is. Then The Secret of Nim, and then going back to what you said, Scott, The Fifth Element
Oh,
after that.
Very nice. Okay, I am now going back all the way to 11/3/08. How do you see total items? Oh, I guess it's actually a spreadsheet, so I can see that I've seen 11,781 things.
Wow.
Now, some of that, I mean, that's obviously, yeah. See, look at this. It's every episode of a TV show is counted as one thing. So, home movie season 3, home movie season 2, episode 4, episode 5, episode 6. So every episode of any TV show, Netflix original or otherwise, counts as a point of watch. Okay, so if it broke it down by actual property, like didn't count, if it only counted Breaking Bad as a single thing and not 6 seasons of 12 to 14 episodes a season, that would be a lot lower number. Anyway, I have done, let's see, let's go back to my very first thing. The Remains of the Day. I don't know if I've seen that. I don't remember that.
That's your first one is The Remains of the Day?
Yeah, how can that be? Hold on.
I don't even know what that is.
It's like a lady movie. I bet my wife watched it.
I feel Remains of the Day. Isn't that a Western?
No, it's like a what's her name movie, Jane Austen thing.
Oh, I don't know. Oh, it's Emma Thompson and the other guy.
Yeah, the guy she was married to for a while.
Anthony Hopkins.
Oh, not him then. All right,
Yeah,
so
it's a British what do they call those rooms? Boudoir, a drama.
yeah, it's what's her? It's Jane Austen, so we know what she does. Okay, so my next one was The Wild Parrots of Telegraph Hill. What the frick is that?
Well, you weren't the first one watching Netflix, obviously. Someone asked you to sign up for the account, you did, and someone else watched it.
Maybe
Kim?
my wife must have. All right, then this starts to sound familiar. I got Friday Night Lights season 2 episode something, a bunch of Friday Night Lights, Super High Me. What the frick is that? Mark Twain. Oh, that's a documentary. I remember that. That was very good. Dan in Real Life was my 10th thing I saw.
Nice. There we go.
Yeah.
We all watched Dan in Real Life. You at least remembered it.
Yep.
So good on you.
And then it starts to sound familiar. Hudsucker Proxy, Secret of Nim, 30 Rock, Enchanted, Ratatouille, a whole bunch of 30 Rock. Holy shit. Good Neighbors. Oh, the Good Neighbors, the weird 1970s British comedy. Pink Panther cartoons, Westworld, the movie.
Yep.
Let's see when I can tell FilmSack kicked in. Hold on. Oh yeah, this is gonna be great because this all changes at the end of 2009. It all gets weird. Yep. Ghostbusters, Soldier, A-Team, The Elephant Man. Like it starts to get real weird. And keep that in mind. Like I have a mandatory film and or TV episode I watch every week with FilmSack, so that adds to this number.
Yeah.
John, this is great. I'm glad you found this. This is amazing.
Yeah, it's a fun little thing, and also makes me feel better when I do things like, I don't know if I ever saw the movie Walk Hard, the Dewey Cox story. I'm gonna watch it. Oh no, this is really familiar. I wonder when I saw it, and it turns out it was April 4th of 2009, and that's why it was not registering in my memory, because it was 11 years ago that I had watched it.
It also occurs to me that this may count things you start and not finish. So if you just barely poked into something, like I started watching Rattlesnake the other day and it's not good. I watched maybe 5 minutes of it and then backed off, and let's see if it counted it. Yes, it did.
It also doesn't seem to show duplicates, because I
Right.
thought it would be fun to look up how many times I've watched, for example, the pilot of Breaking Bad.
Right.
But it does not have any duplicates on here.
Yep.
So
Yep. No, I can totally see that. Oh boy, you can see my Star Trek rewatch phase in here. That got crazy when I watched Schitt's Creek for the first time. Yeah, this is cool though. But yeah, it's counting things you barely poke your head into, things you didn't finish at all, that you may have accidentally clicked into, which could be remains of the day for me. I don't know. But that's fun to see. 12 years of 12 years a slave of Netflix is really what that says. I don't want to know what I paid for that either. So I'm getting
It
out of it now.
it also seems to put it in whatever you watched most recently. So if I were to watch Dan in real life, now the bottom of my list would be something different, and Dan in real life would be up near the top. So it may not be extremely accurate to that.
Okay, so instead of the rewatch, it bumps it up to be current and removes it from its previous position.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. That's pretty cool though.
Well, unfortunately, I can't participate because I switched email addresses at some point, and it only goes back to 2017.
Oh man, 2017. So, we were doing core then.
Yeah, the first thing I watched on the new account was Trailer Park Boys, episode 1. Take your little gun and get out of my trailer park.
Nice.
So,
all right, that was a fun little foray into Netflix history. Thank you, John, for that. Hey, Blizzard addressed the Warcraft 3 Reforged things. They put up a statement, which I don't want to get in trouble here, but it seemed kind of a non-statement to me. Kind of bummed me out. Didn't really address the major concerns people had. Addressed a few of them, I guess, but whatever, it's fine. That's what you get for PR. But anyway, they put up a thing. They made some promises, said they're sticking with the game, going to make it all that it can be. Promises of patches, that sort of stuff.
Yeah, but not they did not offer any of the features that they had decided to walk back from. So if you were looking forward to the redone cutscenes and new audio and all that stuff that was kind of initially on the table, their answer is kind of sorry, except they didn't really say sorry. They kind of just said, we're sorry if you didn't have the time you expected.
Yeah, it's
which is always a really
weird.
Interesting way of saying it. It's like, oh, I'm sorry your expectations were so high.
Yeah, I think maybe they've had to apologize so much lately. Maybe they just didn't want to do it again. I don't know. It's weird. Weird thing.
Do I do the counterpoint then here?
Yeah, because you know what? Let's talk about it for a second, because Bo's been enjoying the hell out of Warcraft 3, and I'd love to hear your thoughts.
Keep in mind, it's my first playthrough. I never played at all Warcraft 3 prior to World of Warcraft. I jumped in at Burning Crusade. I've played Warcraft 1 and 2, Orcs and Humans and Tides of Darkness, right? That's what they're called.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah, you got
it. I'm trying to show that, I can get down with the Warcraft crowd because I know the names of things. But I skipped Warcraft 3. I was playing PlanetSide, or just wasn't playing games at the time, something like that. I don't know what. It was 2000s, right? Around that time.
Sure.
I lived in another city. Yeah, I was playing PlanetSide for sure. Anyways, it's my first time playing Warcraft 3, and I played like all weekend. The campaign is long. I got through the main campaign. I'm playing the Sentinels campaign right now, and I think that's the first of the expansion content where you're Maiev chasing after Illidan. It's really angry, and it's an amazing experience. Like, I think the online community tournament stuff notwithstanding, this is a remaster, and remasters are almost always worse than you expect them to be. And I include StarCraft Remastered in that. I tried Remastered. I was not impressed with you know what I mean? Like, I'm just like,
but it was exactly what they had promised though. Like, StarCraft 2 Remastered was that. And that was all.
We're watching Final Fantasy remake trailers and Doom and Resident Evil, and maybe the thing is maybe Blizzard oversold it. I didn't go back and fact check this, but even if they did, all remasters are oversold. Like, they're cashing in, and I didn't expect anything different from Warcraft. Having played the demo, whether it's different or not, I looked at it and said, well, this probably is going to be a pleasurable experience. I enjoyed playing the Culling of Stratholme mission. When I played it in the game, I didn't remember anything that felt too different about it, to be perfectly honest with you. I'm sure people who are analyzing it are correct about it, but at the end of the day, that game is still a good game with no changes to it. like it's still a really good game. Like most times I play remasters, I'm like, yeah, the graphics are upscaled, but still the aesthetic or the just the developer game player relationship are things of the past that we've moved past because we have conveniences, for example, like checkpoints or inventories or XP things that weren't in older games that diminish a remaster's enjoyment, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's not present in this game. I'm sure it's every bit as fun today when I play it as if I would have first played it in the time that it came out. So I'm very happy with Warcraft 3.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think it's a solid game. Like, and that was kind of what I was trying to say last week, which was
You
it's
did
weird to
say
feel
that,
so
yeah.
disappointed in something that I had so much fun with.
Mm-hmm.
I think here's a bad analogy. Here's what I would describe it as. If you were sitting there and you were going, man, I hate vacuuming. I want one of those little automatic vacuum Roomba things that will vacuum for me.
Mm-hmm.
And somebody announced, hey, we're doing it's going to be an automatic robot vacuum. It's going to go around the house and it's going to vacuum for you. And it's going to be great. And it's going to be super powerful, great suction. It's going to get everything that you need done. And you were like, man, that sounds awesome. And then quietly to a small room of people, they were like, yeah, it's not actually going to be the robot. You're going to have to move it around yourself. And then they put it out that way. And you were like, oh man, yes, I'm excited for my little vacuum robot. Oh, it's not a robot. I have to actually move it around and use it like a normal vacuum. For people who just need a vacuum, that's great. It's going to be a great, powerful vacuum that you move around. If the reason you wanted it was for the automated, it's going to go around and do the job for you, that's no longer the product for you. And that's what this was to me. I've played Warcraft 3. It's a great game. I didn't need a just high def version of it. And that's not what they sold to me. They sold to me, we're redoing a bunch of stuff and here's a whole bunch of new features that they then very quietly walked back. And so at the end of the day, it isn't a product that I wanted. And so I got a refund for it and that's it. It's not for me. For someone like Bo in his situation, that's a perfect game for him.
I don't want to put you on the spot or anything, but do you have an example of something they promised and didn't deliver that was egregious? Or
Oh,
that
I do.
upset you?
I definitely do.
There's literally a side-by-side video for Culling of Strathholm. You can just watch them play
that.
right next to each other, and it is night and day difference. It's not even I can kind of see. It is exceptionally different.
Yeah, and that was such a selling point of this is what we're doing to this classic game. We were taking all that kind of stuff, and there's a lot of conflation out there where people are like, well, they never said they were going to redo the CGI animation. I'm not talking about that. No one ever has mentioned that. That's not what we think they were going to do. What they said they were going to do, like that Culling of Strathholm demo that we all played at BlizzCon, they were going to take those moments and they were going to do all that kind of treatment to it. And then they didn't at all, including the very one that they had done that was there and playable. It just wasn't in the game. And so for me, that's the number one thing. It's not so much that the game has a remastered sensibility to it in the normal ways, like, okay, up-res graphics, we're running in 4K, it's widescreen, like that's all baseline stuff. It's the other stuff that they had committed to that, like John said, they very quietly walked back a lot of it, and in some cases didn't mention it at all, and then delivered a game that just wasn't the thing that they originally had said that they were going to do. And we also weren't very informed as a player base as to those things not being in there. So for me, the egregious change was that very thing, was the idea that these major story points that in the original were, a little bit old and a little bit janky. They were going to take this into a very cinematic way. And I'd look at that and go, no, that's worth $40. I'll pay that for that, because that's going to change. That whole story is going to be way more interesting to follow if they do this treatment throughout. And they didn't do any of it.
That's the promise of like a game right now, like Final Fantasy VII Remake, where even today I'm like, are they going to bait us into thinking, spoilers for Final Fantasy VII right now, stop listening, fast forward. Are they going to bait us into thinking Aerith will die in this story, but then kill off Tifa or something crazy like that? Like, I don't know what's going to happen.
Right.
Like, they do. So it's exciting, right?
Yeah, it is.
And if they do a faithful remake, I won't be mad, because clearly we can see that they've up-res the graphics and introduced new elements to it's a full reimagining of the game. So
right.
we know we're getting that. So what I'm hearing, I guess, is that was something that was an expectation set at some point.
Yeah, if it wasn't for
And
that, we wouldn't
that's
even.
not
I
in
wouldn't
the
even
game.
care about this. If all they'd have done on this is the same as they did with StarCraft 1 remastered, I would have said, okay, well that's what they said, and so that's what we got. Like, no one ever
Because-
complained about that because StarCraft 1 remastered was exactly what they said it was going to be. This isn't. This is just different than what they said.
So I have two thoughts that I want to express as a follow-up to this Warcraft thing and this conversation. One is that Blizzard now has a pattern of being liberal with the good news and mum on anything that's going to be bad, in terms of sitting down and telling us the product that we promise is not going to be the product that we deliver. Transparency. The big one for me that pissed me off was not finding out that we weren't going to get a follow-up to Reaper of Souls when the expansion ended on a cliffhanger, and still to this day is a cliffhanger.
Mm-hmm.
And I've been waiting 10 years.
Right.
I think it's 10 years. Like,
Well,
assholes.
wait.
Like,
Reaper Souls 2014.
okay, not 10 years.
Not 10
but
years. Feels like it, though.
I found out news 6 to 7 years later.
Yeah.
And not like a PSA, like we've stopped development for Diablo 3. You have to do that to people. I've been waiting year after year, watching BlizzCon 6 years. Like, we're going to hear something, we're going to hear something, we're going to hear something, and nothing. And like, that's, if you want me playing your game year after year, you've got to communicate good and bad news.
Mm-hmm.
All your games. That's the kind of company you have. Sorry. If you're not doing that, then you're doing a disservice to people.
Yeah.
The second thought is, my impression playing Warcraft and hearing all this news is, why is there no Warcraft 4? Why the game is, like, to re-emphasize, that game is like nearly 20 years old.
Mm-hmm.
That game is better than 50% of the launches this year, even without the. It's really fun. It's really well designed. You really see the inspiration that went into World of Warcraft with how things jump, from 2 to 3. And I know the graphics are up-res, so for someone who hasn't played it, it seems better than maybe the original is. And I didn't put it on classic mode. But they have a really good product here. And they did move on to make StarCraft 2. And this is the tinfoil hat. Maybe someone over there said, why are we pouring so much energy into Warcraft 3 when we could be making Warcraft 4? And
That definitely deserves the sound file.
you know it was coming. And the only thing they missed was the thing they keep missing was, we have to sit down and have a heart-to-heart with their fan base and tell them, we have a really good reason for changing the direction of Warcraft 3 before it launches. Here's what we expect to actually launch with. We hope you'll stick around for us. And meanwhile, they're working on Warcraft 4, which they're going to announce this year.
Wow.
Look
That's
at
your
that,
prediction?
man.
Whew. Holy crap.
And
I hope you
people
don't
say
have
there'll
to save anything in the fridge. There's no more
there may
tinfoil.
never be a Warcraft 4, but having just played Warcraft 3, I realize how stupid it is that there's no Warcraft 4 or that there's no RTS announcement, period. They are the best in class when it comes to MMOs, and they are the best in class when it comes to RTS. There's no company whose MMO or RTS, MMO in that RPG style, that I'd rather be playing
Oh, yeah. No,
than
they're
the
great.
collected learnings of decades from that company.
Right.
And, we're doing remakes. Like, I'm like, we should just not have done more 3 Reforged. We should just be working on Warcraft 4.
Okay. So let's say that that's the case.
Or a new IP, but RTS.
Okay. Well, let's go with that for a second. And let's say that that's exactly what they're doing. And maybe it is. I would only say that this launch and its blowback is bad for that theory. And if that is what's not for that theory, but for that execution, there is some, they now have a whole brand new bucket of bad blood to deal with because of this. And I think if they turned around in 6 months and said, oh, and we're working on 4, without at least acknowledging that, well, look, we kind of had to jump ship a little early and Reforged and dump some features we know you guys were missing, and we're sad about that, but here's why we did it. I mean, if they did that, then maybe. But I think that that's an uphill climb now if they're well in development on 4. And also, I don't know if RTS makes enough money. There just aren't enough RTS games to justify it, and they don't sell enough, and StarCraft 2 is not what it used to be, and Nobody's doing well with RTS anymore.
That's just
So
like, I get that, and that's probably right, but that's such a cynical, almost non-Blizzard, we're the craftsman kind of thing. Like, we don't do this genre because it doesn't make money. It's like, we do the stuff because we're passionate about it, and what comes. Like,
Well, they also used to
like
be the company that puts it out when it's ready, and Warcraft Reforged, they're like, well, we're gonna patch it.
Like, I think we're attributing performance anxiety to the company when, I mean, maybe they have it, maybe they don't. I don't know, but they shouldn't. They should just do what they love. Are they too big to do that now? Is Activision in there? Like, I don't know. So many people talk like they know, and I feel like we have a well-informed person here more so than a lot of the talking heads out there on the internet and Redditors and all that. But they have really amazing properties and a really amazing pedigree, and they should just keep following their stripe. If Metallica wants to make an alternative album, then that's what Metallica is going to do. So Blizzard should just do whatever the hell they want.
yeah.
And I know they have to worry about profits, but like, I don't care about their profits. I just want to play a cool video game.
Well,
and
you don't
they
care,
made
but
cool video games.
See, this is the problem. Like, it felt like for years that Activision just kind of let them do their thing. And I'm not one of the conspiracy people that thinks that nowadays it's just Activision calling every shot. I don't think it's gone that far. But if it got to a point where they're like, screw it, we just want to make what we want to make, and we're not going to let any other outside thing factor, they literally can't do that because they're a publicly traded company, and most of that company is owned by a different entity. Like, they can't actually do that anymore. They could do this before the acquisition. They can't do it now. So I would worry about that. Like, I agree with you. That's what I want from Blizzard. I want them to just make what they want to make, cancel what doesn't work, start something new because it's great. Like, go back to those old values, go back to that way of doing things. But I think they literally are constrained and can't do that. The companies who have people who have left, like Pardo and to some degree, what's his name? Hearthstone guy, I forgot his name. Browder, not Browder.
The Hearthstone. There's so many, but Brode.
But Ben Brode. But Ben Browder, another example, who just left. Like, those guys are all going to go do projects and things where they feel like they can bring some of that part of the culture back. If it's truly gone. I just don't see how they can fully, like, there's no way that Jay Allen Brack can one day go, you know what, the problem is we're just not being ourselves. Let's be ourselves again. And if being themselves means screw money, I just want to make a cool video game and the money will come. And I actually believe that's true. So I'm with you, by the way. I think it's absolutely true that that's what would happen if Blizzard really did it and leaned into it. I think Activision, unfortunately, the relationships are there. The ownership is there. The constraints are there, so they can't do it. And that really bums me out because even if they wanted to, it would have to be with the blessing of Kotick and everybody else. They would have to all be on board with this idea that Blizzard needs to get off this leash and go do Blizzard. I just don't know how they
Maybe they should stop announcing games at BlizzCon too while they're at it.
Well, maybe. Yeah.
I mean, it's exciting for us as fans, but like, it always seems to revolve around these, difficult BlizzCon announcements these days. I'm just like, just announce it when you're ready to ship, I don't know, like other companies do it. I just feel like I don't know what the company's internal calendar's like, but it does feel like they need to deliver something for BlizzCon all the time. And the years that they don't, it's,
Right.
It was one of the years I went, and everyone was very upset.
Yeah, the only two
Orphea
things
was amazing, and I'm stick behind it that she's the best thing, the hero to have been launched from Heroes of the Storm, because they did something original.
Yeah, I agree.
And I really resented all the backlash about that, because I mean, if you're part of the vocal majority, I guess you drown everyone else out. But man, that sucks. Like, I want to just see them do whatever they feel like doing, and not be punished by the cottage industry that rises around it. Anyways, I think Warcraft 3 is like way overblown. I believe this, like, that anyone who's making those observations is probably correct, and I'm not disputing anyone's feeling about it.
Right.
But sentiment is fueled by the cottage industry around Blizzard. Like, it's made worse by not having rational conversations.
Oh, 100% agree. Yeah.
So they're doing everything right. They've expedited refunds. They're being polite. They're talking about changes. They're doing everything correct, except for letting us know ahead of time which is a habit with the company to not sit us down and have one-to-ones with us when things are not going to get delivered as the expectations they themselves set. It's like your dad saying, "Let's go play ball, kid," and then he goes off to the bar and drinks, and you're sitting there with your baseball glove waiting on the front step for dad, and he's not there.
Oh my gosh,
that's what they're doing.
I know, but tell me this isn't. That's not a real story about you, though, is it? Tell me that's not about you and your.
Kind of.
Oh,
So
man.
when I was
That makes me
when I was young,
sad.
I would work with my dad and stuff like that. But then, with long days, like 10 hours working refrigeration, and then sometimes it'd stop at the bar. I was too young to go in the bar, so like a dog, I was left in the truck to read Dune by Frank Herbert.
Oh yeah, you did tell
Oh
us this
right, you
story
read
before.
Dune in the car.
And like I didn't want to go into the bar, but I
Right.
feel a way about it. I'm just like, don't go to a bar and leave your kid in the car.
Yeah,
Read books.
that's
Just
not,
take them home.
That's not
Or-
good.
I don't know.
Go do something fun with him. You don't have to go to the bar.
Yeah.
Well, where I
And-
live,
and-
that gets you arrested. So
It does now. Yeah.
like,
Well, all right.
'cause
Yeah.
down here, if a kid gets left in the car, they die like instantly.
Yeah,
They
you
just
don't
melt.
live. Your pets or your kids in a car in Phoenix means your mother's a crackhead and forgot you were there and you die in the car.
And don't drive drunk, because
Yeah, that's bad. Don't do
my
that.
story also probably alluded to those putting the dots together. It's not good.
Yeah. Wait a minute. Was there a bad thing that happened that I don't really
Oh my
know?
god! Like 20 years ago,
Yeah.
drunk driving was normal, especially for country folk.
Yeah. Were you country
I
folks?
remember my dad. He was drunk. He was driving. He's like, "Son, real men know how to drive." And back in the day, before all these damn laws, you don't ever tell a man that you're going to drive him home. You let him drive home. And we were following my great uncle on the road who was swerving like this, and we followed him the whole way home to make sure he got home.
Mm.
And there was a matter of pride that we didn't drive him home. We let him be a man and drive himself home.
Oh my
But
gosh.
he was like this, and I was getting I got tails, man, like that. We are on the internet. We are in echo chambers,
Yeah.
and we fail to realize that most of the world are not smart.
Yeah.
And that include people I know
Yeah.
and family, and yes, that's why I say the brain trust around Blizzard stuff is full of dummies, and you should not listen to it. You should listen to Scott.
Yeah.
You should listen to Instance.
You should listen to you
and
guys too.
intelligent people.
I really like the conversations I've had around this stuff with Blizzard lately because it's all been very measured and thoughtful and interesting, and I've seen other points of view, and hopefully my points of view have been gone across. Like, it's been a great experiment in human communication for me over the last few weeks, and that's awesome. But when I turn to Twitter or I turn to emails or I turn to whatever, things get real weird, real quick, and real strange for no reason. And Bo's not
it's
wrong.
Remaster.
Yeah.
It's a nothing burger. Literally, no other remaster in the history of remasters has garnered this much YouTube views and press and everything else. Like,
Well,
it's
the
ridiculous.
lesson that they should have learned. Okay, so there's two things can be true at once. One, overreaction by the fan base. 100% agree. That is always a dumpster fire for Blizzard fans every time. It doesn't matter what the severity is. That's absolutely true. The other thing is also simultaneously true is I think they botched this launch by promising something they didn't deliver, and they miscommunicated it all. And I think it's right and good that they give people back their money if they felt like they did not get the value they wanted after poking their heads in there and it just wasn't enough for them. And that's okay. And that should be enough. Like,
I agree.
That's
Which is
an-
what they're doing. I got my refund. I'm happy.
Yeah. Good
You know,
enough.
I mean, I'm not exactly happy. I wish
Wait.
a game came out that I liked, but
Didn't you lose Warcraft? I was listening to the Instance, and it was really unclear. about
so
that scenario about whether if you have Classic, you have to disconnect from the internet to use
yeah,
this.
you do.
You do.
Which
So-
is that part's. But prior to the launch, you could have BattleNet launch the old client, right?
correct. Before the launch, you could play BattleNet. Well,
So they did an Overwatch 2, basically.
kind of, except also, yeah, a much longer period between them, I guess. But yes, kind of they did.
Yeah, but it's an Overwatch 2ification, which I think that's a BS move. for
Yeah,
a
I mean,
classic game.
to me, the big issues are, you know, they say, well, we walked it back at 2019 because we walked it back to what we thought people liked. But even after BlizzCon 2019, where they supposedly said, hey, we're not doing some of that stuff we said we were going to, their website still said they were going to do that stuff. And to me, when you're taking pre-orders for a game and you're saying, oh, please give us money, here's the features we have, but you'll know these aren't going to be the actual features if you were at BlizzCon and watched this one specific panel or paid us more money to get a virtual ticket, then you're in the know. But otherwise, please give us money for a game that's not going to come with these features. I think that's a seedy practice.
Yeah.
Is it the end of the world? No. Does Blizzard have a major communication problem and this is the end result of it? Yeah, I think this was a big problem for them.
Did we know Dance Studio was not coming? That was on the box, right?
It was on the box. Dance Studio, I believe, is still on the Lich King box. If you have it, I believe it says new dances on the back.
I do have that. I actually do.
Yeah, check it out. Look and see if you've got the promise of new dances.
I don't know where that
and
went.
it was a thing where it was going to be in there and it was going to happen, and then it was, well, it's not going to be at launch, but it'll come out during it, and then it'll be, we're not going to make this expansion. And people are still
they also had the dog. They had the dog fighting stuff on that same box, didn't they? You could fight in planes or whatever, or on flying bands.
Yes, aerial combat.
Aerial combat. Yeah, that's not there.
Turns out Lich King had a lot of broken promises, but it was a good enough expansion that it made up for it.
Yeah, but like it just points to a history of like fun to deliver the good news, but sometimes you do also have to honesty and integrity go a long way, and
I think communication's everything. I just think that would solve all this stuff. They've gotten real weird with the tight-lippedness lately, and Blizzard's never been one for super duper good communication with player bases, but I did feel like they were getting better in recent years. Now this last swath of problems,
communication,
they did. It varied, I guess, depending on what department you were dealing with, but from a leadership down kind of thing, I think the later Morheim years felt more communicative. And I think things got real tight-lipped when J. Allen Brack took over, not because he said, let's do it. I think it's just everyone's a little nervous and a little, new setup, new structure, new whatever.
They fired all those people.
They fired a lot of people. Yeah, that's the other thing. And so
he inherited it like a nuclear bomb, and that Hong Kong happened shortly thereafter.
Yeah, pretty much.
He's probably been moving to one turd burger after another that he hasn't really a fair crack at, to be honest.
One turd burger after another is a great title. I may have to use it.
Just like, can I just focus on making games? He's like, nope, Hong Kong's in trouble. Blizzard has to save it. We're sucking. No, Warcraft 3 is terrible. Like, it's just like, God.
Yeah,
I hate this job.
Yeah, it's got to be, well.
Congratulations on your promotion. Now please go out there and kill Heroes of the Storm and say you love China.
Yeah. That's kind of what it felt like, right? I mean, just not to overly simplify it, but so because of all that stuff, it's damaged that kind of communication stuff a bit. I think if they got back to just be honest with us and say, well, we thought we were communicating the fact that we were walking this stuff back in 2019 and our reasons for doing it at BlizzCon, but I guess that wasn't enough. We need to talk to you guys more directly and more often. We should have done that, and we're going to try not to do that again. Like, I'm not even just saying we want like just apologies, just in the process of all of this, say stuff like, well, we didn't do this because of these reasons, and give us real reasons. Like, there wasn't enough money. The people aren't here anymore. Whatever it is, like, I would so much more appreciate that than just this, we believe truly that the next generation of gamers are going to really, I don't want to talk like that anymore with people. I don't want this fake, like, and I'm not saying, this is a industry-wide problem, by the way. Everyone does this. That's why we're all a little concerned, because we don't want our beloved Blizzard to be lumped in there with everyone else that just, pushes out boilerplate.
I mean, this is an easy explanation. I'm watching the comparison now, and I see one being like a machinima cinematic, looks very well done, versus just I guess what was in the original, which was just top-down view.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And I'm immediately asking, why are we spending resources making cinematics for an old game when we have like cinematic thirsty new games that like constantly need new stuff all the time? Like,
you're probably right. You're probably why they
just come out and say, we have lots of new games we want to make cool content for. Warcraft 3 is not worth it. We're just going to update the graphics. Don't buy it if you don't want that. We'll do refunds.
There you go.
Done. Over.
I agree.
And then of course there'll be people on YouTube going, Blizzard failed again. But the trick is they're going to do it anyways. Like, that's just a thing you have. So
oh yeah, they're going to do that no matter what.
Delay it, or you can get ahead of it.
Yeah,
And I think
these
get ahead
guys
of
that
it
are
better.
basically gaming Alex Jones type folks who just
Yes,
have a YouTube
yeah.
channel where their whole point is to say what's going on, like, and just conspiracies and try to kick up dirt or whatever. They're going to do that no matter what, and their entire livelihood depends on them continuing their freaking farce. So let them do it. The people that are really spending the money and the people that have the sense to get your games or not are the ones that you want to talk to, and just bypass those guys. Who cares what they say?
They're going to exist anyways. They're going to do it anyways. And when you have a slow week, they are finding it. When there's a slow Blizzard week, they pick on some other developer till they have a story to climb onto. So.
I'm going to get some email tomorrow. Someone's going to say, I heard you bagging on all the YouTubers. I guess that includes my favorite guy. Well, that would be on the other. I'm going to get heat for it. You watch.
Oh, it's all of them. Give me the heat. It's YouTubers, Twitch streamers, podcasters, you name it. There's a cottage industry of people making money or pseudo making money, trying to doing tabloid press, and it centers around Blizzard.
Yeah,
and
it's
if Blizzard
weird.
doesn't mess up, they don't eat.
Yeah, it's a good point.
You want to listen to people whose livelihood depends on shaming companies and stuff like that. It's ridiculous.
See, look at that.
You wouldn't do it for news, or maybe that's why we're used to it. Like if you take gaming as a microcosm of the political climate, everyone's just, I guess, thinks that's normal and not journalism. That's why I bag on gaming journalism. It's literally nothing. I mean, a lot of it is just check out these new screenshots. Like there's nothing that newsworthy about games until the game developers themselves decide to show you cool stuff. I don't know. There's a few exceptions. I think Jason Schreier is pretty rad, and that No Clip guy does really good work on the documentaries.
Dwyer, yeah.
Oh,
yeah,
he's good.
and like there are great people who do really responsible, really they're building something. I think when you earn a living tearing things down, like you have to take a look. You're trying to build something up. Like all these channels, I have a T-shirt. Here's my new logo. I'm building up my brand by shitting on another one. Like, and it's just like maybe do that some of the times when the criticism warranted. We do it here, but if you build on that, like I don't want to. That, you know what I mean? Like you put that energy out into the world, then you're responsible for that. And I just think I just don't think it's like we can just look at Blizzard and say like it's all on them. I think there is a real problem that they don't have control over. That's just part of the world we live in today, or the services we have now.
Yeah.
And it makes me sad, and it really irritates me because
part of it is they have to live up to a version of themselves that they, whether or not they're still that company, or even if they reach that, it doesn't really matter in the places you're talking about. It won't matter.
Well, and the worst part is all these algorithms. So like, just don't watch it if you don't like it. Fine, but then YouTube recommends it. Twitter recommends, like they show me tweets of people I don't follow having conversations about this stuff.
Oh yeah, to anybody who watched
phone.
the linked video that I put in the chat comparing old versus new, congratulations. YouTube is now going to recommend tons of videos because this is the only one I watched, and now I see it. You're going to get a ton of recommendations about how Blizzard is ruining the world today. Like that's just now popping up constantly in my YouTube recommends, and it's like that's not what I wanted to see. I wanted to see to make sure that my memory was right of what I remember from BlizzCon versus what is actually coming out, and now that algorithm has decided to feed me nothing but here's why this person hates this person today.
Yeah.
And it's been a frustrating thing because I had reached my fatigue of just being mad at Blizzard because right when this happened, and I also wanted to write it off and just go, oh man, of course you're not happy with it. Like who cares? You're not happy with anything. But I do think there's some genuine things to criticize here, and there is some genuine problems here. And I do think that this is a case where they should be called to task. Yeah. But that's tricky, that's the way it goes.
Well,
anyways, I kind of hijacked our conversation. Sorry.
No, it's all right. It's all right. It's all good. It's out there. We're talking about it. How about NVIDIA's GeForce Now being out of beta? It's only $4.99 a month, guys. I feel like they've been doing that since. Well, actually, I know they have. So, John, back when we were doing XP, the experience points thing,
yeah,
we were messing around in NVIDIA's GeForce Now service.
Oh, were we?
Yeah.
I didn't even realize that.
Some of those games were from that, and we were playing them on. I was capturing directly from a what do you call it? What do they call those things? The GeForce or the NVIDIA
The
Shield.
the
Shield,
NVIDIA
yeah.
Shield. Yeah.
It's a pretty nice piece of hardware still. I still have the best Netflix quality on that thing than anything else I own. It's crazy. I don't know why. It just has a great like video processor in it or something. But anyway, that was like 2014, 13.
Yeah.
It was a long time ago. And now I guess I thought it was just gone. But apparently that thing's been in beta since then and is now officially out. So if you want to go spend $5 a month, you can basically have Stadia.
Yeah, except for games you already own, so you don't have to go out and buy them again.
Right.
Which is pretty great. And also, and this is going to sound like we're shilling for it, we're not.
No.
But this is the news. Apparently, there's also a free trial going right now, so you don't even have to do the $5 buy-in at the moment. I am going to try it because I'm very curious about it. I'm curious how it works and how it's going to go. And from the early impressions I read, I haven't played it myself. It's good. It's pretty sweet. So I'm gonna give it a go and see how it all works.
Yeah.
So this is Stadia. It's streaming,
kind of
game stream.
Yeah. I mean, yes. Yes, 100% that's what it is. I almost feel like they've been sitting on this beta for a while to see how things would play out. You know what I mean? It's like, wait till Stadia hits, wait till we see what pricing structure looks like, kind of get an idea what Microsoft's going to do with xCloud, blah, 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 and then sneak in and go, hey, you know us. We're the biggest name in GPU and blah, blah, blah. Video games, consoles, and PCs. And then they put out, a service that's very competitively priced with a pretty proven track record on the tech. I think it's kind of great that they're getting involved.
What's the cryptocurrency
Angle.
people going to do when we stop buying video cards and we stream our game?
Well, that already ended, right? Like, so what happened there was, if I understand this right, and someone's going to correct me on the details, but overall, my understanding is this: when the cards were getting munched up by the market because people wanted to use them to crunch Bitcoin and other cryptocurrencies, that was true and that was happening. You couldn't get a card to save your life, and they were going for way too much money and all that. But then both NVIDIA, ATI, and other card manufacturers started putting out cards that were great at crunching for Bitcoin, but didn't have any of the video stuff.
So just the features you want out of them, and they serve that market.
And now it's like now it's all smoothed out, is my understanding. I could be wrong, but I think that's where it's at.
Interesting.
Right now. I have a friend who does this, and that's what he tells me, but
I don't know anything about it other than that. It was hard. Prices were going up for video cards, and I was like, "Oh man,
I'm thinking Bitcoin."
Yeah,
stupid crypto guys taking all my money or taking my video cards. I can't buy a new video card.
I mean, there's still some cards that are. I mean, you could argue are too much money, but they're plentiful. You can get them. It's not like the price.
I'm glad they have their own product, because I think if everything goes streaming, maybe they just buy 10,000 Xboxes or something.
Also, you just don't hear about it as much. Like, I don't hear about people going crazy with like card farms, just farming coin all day. Somebody out there still doing it. Is anyone making millions at it? Or
I just like the way you said that, farming coin all day. It's just very bro-y, just like, hey bro, you want to go farm some coin?
Farm some coin.
In Scott's mind, it's like Farm Simulator. That's farm.
That's
coin.
Great. Farming
Sorry,
coin.
man. I'm just thrashed. I was up farming coin all night. You know how it is.
So
I like this. You don't need to ray trace crypto.
No, you don't. That turns out you don't at all. In fact, that was what's so sad about that. All those video cards were not being used for their abilities to push polygons and run shaders. They
want the processing power.
Yeah, I mean, that's really it. So
yeah,
it's kind of a bummer. Anyway,
well, I mean, good for us, but I mean, if streaming actually pans out, I don't know. There's a big push for this, man. It's not just like Stadia in a silo.
Mm-hmm.
Just looks like a weird ploy to try something new that's not like gimmick, right?
Mm-hmm.
But it's everybody except, as far as I can tell, Sony and Nintendo.
Mm-hmm.
That Amazon is rumored to be working on something. Google Stadia is a thing. Xbox is into it. There's others, like Nvidia's got a thing.
Yeah.
Like, do you think this is like what do they call that? Like a flavor of the month kind of thing? You think this peters out? Because I mean, that's everyone's reaction a year ago, right? Streaming, latency, like.
I love it.
But all those
latency.
And I said the same thing. I'm that guy. Latency. I'll never do this. But like, but like, those people are professionals and know what they're doing, and they've been pitching this snake oil like for a good year, like a couple of years now, right? So
Yeah, no, I think it's.
There's
I think there's
something to it, like-
yeah, there is something to it. But to me, it's like VR. There's definitely something to it, and there's a future in it. But there's some iteration that needs to happen. There's some the settling of what business plans look like and how consumers get what they get and how good is it and is the tech up to snuff, and if it isn't yet, then a few more iterations to go yet and that sort of thing. So it's a long game, like you were saying earlier. I really do think that that's true, but I don't think it's this year. It certainly isn't next year. It's probably not for another 5-6 years before we see truly what that landscape might look like. Until then, it's going to be a mix of, mostly people saying, well, I'm just going to keep getting my, PC players especially, just going to keep getting their games on Steam and Epic or wherever else they get it. And I'm not going to stream this stuff or whatever.
Until the steak really tastes like steak, then what's the difference?
Yes.
Yeah. Joe Pantoliano. Right now, it's like, no, we definitely know it's not steak, but the Pepsi test is coming, gamers.
That's one of the great things Joey Pants gave us in this life.
Yeah.
Other than his amazing work in The Sopranos. But he is great, and I love that guy. But that's one of the great things he ever did was to say, it looks like steak, it smells like steak, tastes like steak, but he knows it's not steak. We have to get to a place where these games as services like that have to be so much like steak that it doesn't matter.
That was my favorite quote from The Matrix right after there is no spoon, Neo, from Morpheus.
From Morpheus, yeah.
No, it's the kid that says there is no spoon. He's sitting with the kid.
If there's one thing I learned about this episode is we all remember The Matrix.
I do. I've watched that movie like 100 times. Neo is like trying to bend the spoon. The kid can bend it, and he's like,
Do
"How
you
do we
think
do
that's
this?"
a spoon you're bending?
Mm-hmm.
And he says,
That Trinity.
"The trick is there is no spoon." And then, all right,
that's funny. Hold on a second, though. That reminds me of something. I was watching Apocalypse Now with Tom Merritt for a thing we were doing.
I love the smell of napalm in the morning.
Yes, that's a great movie, and it really holds up. By the way, it's amazing how good that movie looks in the year we're watching it. But anyway, the young gunner who turns out was 14 when he filmed this, but the kid that plays the skinny gunner, big gun on the back of the boat, is Morpheus. Is freaking what's his name?
Yeah, Lawrence Fishburne's in that,
Yeah,
right?
they call him Larry Fishburne in the credits, and he's literally 14, 15 while they're filming this, which is nuts.
I remember that. I watched it a long time ago, so I need a refresher.
You should watch it. It's so good. Man, it's good.
It's a classic film.
It holds up like nothing else. It's amazing. Don't know how they did it exactly, but they did it.
We're going to start a list here. Apocalypse Now, Big Lebowski, RoboCop, The Matrix.
Wait,
Mad Max Fury Road.
RoboCop.
Why haven't RoboCop get on the list?
RoboCop is a class. That is a
I love
timeless
RoboCop. I mean, I'm not gonna argue. I'm just not sure how it got here.
I just kind of came out of nowhere. You just snuck RoboCop in this.
It's true. We didn't talk about it, but I think Apocalypse Now is bringing back like film school memories. And in film school, this academic, we had to write a paper on the title card of RoboCop and how it reflected society.
Really?
Some postmodern
title card.
You look at and see the way the letters zoom in to the screen. It says RoboCop, and you can see the postmodernism happening in the shabibidi-boo, and write a 10-page paper citing sources about how this is a post. Oh, it was horrible.
The better assignment would be to do that for the commercials in there, the fake commercials.
I had my hand up every class 5 times asking clarifying questions of this bullshit. And like I get nosebleeds in class, so I'd be there with a big Kleenex on my nose, like, excuse me, I don't understand. Why are we focused on the title card? And like everybody in the class, every time I had my hand up, would look at me with hatred in their soul. And I'm like, I don't care. I paid tuition. I'm asking my questions. Screw you guys.
Can I tell you guys something a little embarrassing about RoboCop? Maybe it's understandable.
Yeah, go for it.
But when I was a kid and watched that movie, because I watched that movie, at the age it came out on VHS, so I was young. And I thought that, what's the name of the board game? Is it Thermonuclear War or something like that? There's a board game where it's all about nuking your family.
Oh, in that movie,
I thought it looked like the most fun board game ever, and I asked my parents for it constantly.
But you didn't know it was a fake board game.
I didn't
though.
know it was a joke.
That it was a.
So I would my parents would be like, "We're going to Walmart." I'd be like, "Buy Thermonuclear War because we need to play it."
Okay, well, I mean,
Did
look.
your parents hate that?
No, my parents didn't know. They went and they said they didn't have it. Like, so either they knew I was asking for a thing that was fake and they just didn't want to have that conversation with me, or they thought I knew what I was talking about, went to the store and was like, I don't know. They don't have the thing he asked for.
Well, I would have played it if it was real. I like fake fictitious stuff that looks better than real things.
Yeah.
That looked awesome. Also, everything about that movie's great. RoboCop's great. Let's not beat around the bush. It's fantastic. RoboCop 2 is garbage. 3 is worse. And that new remake was okay. I'll put it out
The
there.
hand thing's really weird, though.
Yeah, it was weird. But I really liked Michael Keaton in the new one. He was that bad guy. He was great in that.
But that sentence could have ended after the word Keaton, and it still would have been true.
Yeah.
Yeah, like I think it was a pile of 10 turds on the ground and Michael Keaton was in it, you'd be like, I hate that turd was bad, but Michael Keaton was great.
Yeah.
I'm really happy, Michael. I really like this turd because Michael Keaton's in it.
He's just like, look at these turds, and you're like, you're great. Look at you. You're in a bad situation, but you're making the most.
There were other things like what's his name? I kind of like him. I can't think of his name now, but he's
Samuel L. Jackson.
No, I hated that part. The guy that played RoboCop he's in The Killing and a bunch of other cool stuff. He's a good actor. He's in.
What's his name? Rimmelman? No.
Joel.
He's the Altered Carbon guy. Joel Himmerman.
Not Himmerman. Joel Kinnaman.
Oh,
Kinnaman. He's great.
He's okay.
He's great.
He looks like if I Googled person.
Wow, what an attack.
No, it's not an attack. It's completely middle of the road.
I mean,
see, the thing is, I think he's great. I think the material he's in, he could do better.
He's great in Hannah. He's great in.
I haven't seen Hannah. I can't speak to that.
Yeah, Hannah's great. The TV thing is very good. I like the movie too. But the what's the other thing I just saw him in? Oh, that thing on the Apple TV. No, the Apple TV show he's in, the one about alternate history about the space program.
Oh, that could be good. Yeah,
it's very good. It's the what's his name? Oh, I can't think of any names tonight. Who made Battlestar Galactica? Who's
the guy from Deep Space Nine?
His last name Moore, something Moore.
Ronald Moore. Ronald Moore did this thing, whatever it's called, the alternate space thing, and it's very good. And Kinnaman's great in it. He's great. There's nothing wrong.
For All Mankind.
I will admit, it could be that I haven't seen him in much because I haven't seen any of these things except the remake of RoboCop. But he has a look about him that, like I said, it looks like it would be the result if you Googled person.
He's also good in at least season 1 of The Killing, where he is a cop, but he's like an ex-drug addict cop who's clean now, but looking pretty rough. And you'd never know he's from Sweden. He's got this amazing American like street accent. He's good. I like that guy.
I think he'd make a great war boy.
Oh, he'd be a pretty good war boy, yeah.
In the new Mad Max film
that is being worked on. I'm so excited.
He looks like he could play what was the name of the protagonist from the new Red Dead game?
Oh, nice transition. Can I use that as a transition?
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay. Even though I'm not answering your question. Hold on.
Yes, let me answer that question by talking about...
That's like, thank God. Get some back to video game.
Not the Irish guy, though, right? That's not you, man.
No, just the generic cowboy man.
Oh, your main guy.
Main guy.
Marsden.
Greg? No.
Give Greg. It was weird they didn't give him a full name and he's just known as the Cowboy Greg.
What's his freaking name?
The Wild West.
What's his name?
Marsden?
No, John Marsden's the other guy. He's in it, but it's not him. It's
Ballyhoo Bickwitch.
Ballyhoo Bickwitch.
I really want to remember his name. He ended up being great. I thought he also looked very generic, but
he is great. He turned out great.
Fantastic.
Okay, so I'm thinking of not Dutch. Dutch is his boss.
Yeah, Dutch.
I'm looking it up. I won't say
Arthur
it if you guys
Morgan.
wanna-
You know how I did it?
Arthur Morgan.
I got Dutch in my head going, Arthur, come over here, Arthur. We need to get this shit done, Arthur Morgan. Like I can hear him saying it now.
Yeah.
I love Dutch, dude. Let me tell you boys about something when I just love that.
Yeah.
I gotta go
Just
finish
always
that
a time for a speech.
Yep.
Now we've had some hardships. Granted, if I could take the place of any one of them boys.
Oh, Dutch. Gosh dang it. But yeah, Arthur Morgan. What were we talking about him for, though? What was his deal?
The dude.
This is our segue into whatever.
the dude we were talking about could play Arthur Morgan.
Oh, okay.
In a movie.
5-minute segue.
That's right. That's what it is. So, big news. This actually is kind of is big news. Rockstar Games boss Dan Houser and co-founder is leaving the GTA and Red Dead developer now, and he wrote Red Dead Redemption 2. He's huge there. He's your guy, Doug Houser or Dan Houser. When you hear that name, you're supposed to go, "Oh yeah, big time video game man." And he's
like a Metzen equivalent.
Yeah, he's out of there.
For
maybe even more so. In their
well,
context.
he's a founder, I guess. Or,
yeah,
I don't know.
Co-founder.
But
yeah,
splitting hairs, I think he's the VP of creative, which I think is their storytelling department. You know,
yeah,
he's the man with the vision.
Yeah, and he's out.
He's been doing this for a while. I mean, is there a sense that he was unhappy, or is it just time to go on and do something else?
I guess so. It's kind of like the
part of the article I read said he took some time off for a year.
Oh, did a sabbatical.
That could be new interests, and it could be he's ill and just not being public about it. There's a lot of reasons someone might take some time off, or he could just be like, "Man, I'm rich and I want to enjoy some of this money instead of crunching." So
yeah,
maybe he
going to Tibet.
Maybe he found himself on that sabbatical. You never know. He went fishing. I don't know what he did. Anyway,
that's what he's going to do. He's going to join Dick Cheney and fly fishing.
There you go. But he's definitely not going to come back and work on any more GTA or Red Dead properties or anything else to do with Rockstar. He's done. As far as I know, it's an amicable parting. They don't say. It's just that he's going. So there's that. We didn't mention it earlier, but it bears mentioning here about people leaving and joining things. Rod Ferguson, head of Gears of War development for the last 15 years. Well, he's head at Coalition, but has worked on Gears for 15 years. Is leaving and is now going to join Blizzard as the Diablo lead, which I thought they had one. Didn't they have one?
They got a new one.
Because they just had that guy on stage going, "I'm the lead for the deal, and here's the thing we're doing." And then now,
you're talking about that? Oh, I kind of like that guy.
I did too. It was like Enrique Valdomato or something like that, some kind of name like that.
I don't know if there's any news about him departing, or perhaps he's focused in on a department. This news really excited me because I think Gears of War is a great franchise. This is a senior guy. That guy might still be the lead because the words they use are like oversee and lead. So they might have created a position above that that's more of a public facing person and, high level direction, a commissioner, if you will. So that's the structure might just be in place. I don't know. But I was really stoked because Gears of War is a violent, bloody franchise that has lots of F-bombs and likes to be edgy and bro down. And I think that aesthetic, I don't think he's going to come in here and turn Diablo into Gears of War. I'm not worried about that. This is Marcus Phoenix all of a sudden in Sanctuary going like, "Get down, Dom!" But like it's come on, out of the way, come on, F-bomb. But like.
So what you're saying is confirmed. John DiMaggio confirmed as a voice actor in Diablo 4. That's what you're saying. Okay, got it.
But like, I'm pretty sure that this is a nice fit. This is an exciting.
Yeah, it seems good. Shore up that team and make a really, really great Diablo game. How about that?
Yeah.
All right.
Well, so they've got a CD Projekt Red guy and they've got the Gears of War guy. I think that game's going to be pretty damn good.
I'm pretty excited for it.
Yeah.
I'm hopeful.
Time will tell. Let's talk about our week in gaming. I gave Breakpoint another look. Still has a bunch of issues. This is Ghost Recon Breakpoint is the game. For those not caught up on what that is, it's basically a sequel to Wildlands, the 2017 shooter, similar shooter, and it's got most of what it needs to be great, but it's got some weird bugs and problems still, even this well into its existence. It came out in October, and I still check in there here and there. I think it still has issues. It still kind of has a bit of a focus problem. It's getting better, though, and that Terminator event they did is pretty rad, so I'll give them that. But I have hopes they'll keep tweaking on that thing, because I really like the last one. I like Wildlands a lot, and it also launched in kind of rough shape and really shaped up over some time. And so I think that maybe that'll happen here. So anyway, giving Breakpoint another look.
Can I ask you a question that I feel is right up your alley, and in fact may be inspired by you?
Yeah, go.
Considering John Bernthal plays the final boss of that, do you find it too easy to hit him in the ears?
Oh my
how big
God,
the hitbox?
One of these days, John, a whole bunch of muscly actors are gonna show up at your house and be like, "We heard you were talking crap about us."
I'm riffing on Scott. I want all the anger to go to him.
Yeah.
He's the one.
I'm the one that always says, like, on set, he has to have 3 trailers, one for him and one for each of his earlobes, things like that. So I admit it. I kind of make that a dumb deal. He's a cool looking dude, but yeah, as far as I know, the hitboxes do not extend any further out because of his ears. As far as I know.
Oh, okay, that's good.
I think we're okay. I've not gotten that
That'd
far in
be
the game,
funny.
so I don't know.
Maybe you have to knock off some of the ear to reveal the spot. Like in Doom.
I just think graphically it's awesome. The shooting in that game feels really good. I love sniping in that game. I love sneaking around and popping people in the head, and I love getting new guns. And like, there's so much to like about it, but there's just something off about its structure, and I hope they keep working on it. And I played a ton of card games, and I mean a ton of them.
I was shocked to hear you're playing Arena.
Yeah, I played Arena, Magic Arena. That's right up there with what I enjoyed the most this week. That thing's real good.
I agree.
And
it's a slick package, little laggy, but
a little bit, a very slick package. They've learned a lot from the era of Hearthstone, where things need to pop and, have personality, and all that stuff matters. And the games in the past, when Magic's ever tried to do like iterations of their digital versions, they've always been a little dry, a little boring, a little lame. This is not that. This is a very cool iteration. It's very cool. I think Arena's good. I'm excited to see that come to other platforms, because I would like to play that on a phone or a tablet when I have free time.
They're very generous to new players in terms of that progression that they do.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And it's possible that I play that for a good long time. It's possible, as long as you can kind of get a deck together,
yeah,
to even just play best of ones for gold, and you can grind gold into gems and just be free to play player.
Yeah.
It works really well.
It's
Their
pretty
system's
generous.
very nice.
Yeah, it's very nice. It's a lot less. If it makes Hearthstone seem downright stringent on when you get things and how you earn new decks and stuff. Mm-hmm. So it's pretty strong. So I played that. I played a bunch more Eternal, which is another game I respect a lot. I like that game. It's kind of a weird. If you could take Hearthstone and Magic and come up with a middle ground, I think that's what that game is. Because it's got things that, basically it's the equivalent of mana or land, in terms of a currency that builds out your power and stuff, but it also has a lot of sort of Hearthstone sensibilities. It's a cool game, but the one
I wanted to
go ahead. No, I was going to say the one that really jammed for me though, and I'm a little surprised by it, and it just started, so we're early, but the open beta for Legends of Runeterra. That thing's real good as far as I'm concerned. I really like it. Now, I am not some kind of CCG expert. I'm far from it. Everyone knows I suck at these. But I do like them when they're done well. I prefer deck builders, generally speaking, but once in a while one of these grabs me. And man, this thing really grabbed me hard. And I don't know anything about these League of Legends characters that they have in it. I don't know nothing about that universe. But I think Riot has a legit chance to be a major competitor with this card game. It's very, very fun.
How did you feel about, because last time I saw it, the cards turned into these massive squares on the board, and that really bugged me. Does that bug you at all? Or
they only do it during attack and defend phases. So a little bit like, like Hearthstone, you're always, sure, when you put out a minion, it may be asleep till the next thing unless it has charge or something, but generally in Hearthstone, you just attack whatever you want, wherever you want, whenever you want to, unless they have taunt, then you got to attack them. But basically, you kind of you're not limited to what you can attack and when. The way Runeterra works, a little more like Magic, I guess, or a little bit more like Eternal, but you can only attack every other turn. So you can't just attack willy-nilly anytime you want to, and you kind of want to think about what you're setting up to attack. So when you lay your cards out at first, they're laid out just like cards. But then when you get to attack phase and you decide to go ahead and attack, when you lay them out and put them on the board, it creates kind of a laning system. And so if you're going to defend, say block, right? You have to position blockers in front of them unless you have a special card that lets you block anywhere you want, and so it makes it a power of a card. But when they go out and go schlunk as like big boards with art on them, the opponent now has a blocking phase where they have to decide, all right, well, I'm going to put this guy here, this guy here, this guy here, and positions matter. Like,
okay, so the board position is a factor.
Yes,
in this game.
And it's a little board game like that part of it, that phase of the game. But it's very quick. They do the attacks, and then they morph back into cards, and you're back to you're back to
in
where you
Magic,
were.
it doesn't matter. You do pick attackers and blockers, but it doesn't matter where they physically are on the table.
Correct.
But in this one, it does.
It does matter here, yes. Which is, I feel like a little bit of a what was the Dota one that didn't work out?
Artifact.
Artifact tried to do kind of a laning thing, but that was more like
they had a laning thing, but they had 3 boards.
Yeah, it was 3 boards, and it was weird.
They had lanes in all of them. I mean, I followed it for a while. I thought it looked like a cool game, but I guess it wasn't. I never tried it.
People did not love that game, even though it was the Magic
I love
the
the
Gathering
little
guy.
dragons flying around and being cute and stuff. I thought that was pretty awesome.
That's the other thing I'll say about this, polish-wise. Like, animation and polish on this is really good. You can tell Riot is, through all their best stuff at this. It looks really good. Everything really pops. The music's great. The cards have personality. All that stuff I was saying earlier. Like, I don't think you can do a card game and be serious about it now without all of those trappings, and they're definitely doing that. I guess I'm just surprised. I didn't think I was going to think that much of it. I just thought I would mess around a little and go, well, that seems all right for League fans or whatever. I think it's more than that. I think it's very, very good.
It's also not a random pack deal. I think it's a progression-based unlock system. Did you experience any of that?
Yeah, and that feels generous. Now, I don't know what to compare it to, so I don't really know if it's being generous, but it feels like every time I finish a game, I'm getting stuff. Like, I'm always getting something. The progression unlocks feels a lot like a battle pass, but apparently that's not a thing. Well, the way they're going to make money is cosmetics and board designs, so the current default board in the beta is just, what's the name of the battleground in Legion or in League? What's it called?
Summoner's Rift.
Summoner's Rift. So it's basically based on those kind of art assets and stuff, like the look of it. They're gonna have, a huge amount of those that you'll buy with
different
currency.
Cosmetics and stuff.
Yeah. So cosmetics for that, cosmetics for the little creature thing. I forgot what they're called, but it's hanging out on your side and on the other guy's side. Card, I guess there's going to be card skins and other stuff. So, and backs, of course, backs are a no-brainer. But I feel like their model may be way less about, hey, buy some packs of cards and hope you get a good thing, and way more like, you're just playing to earn, and so have fun. But also, you sick of that board? Do you want to buy this board? Like, it'll be more like that. Which I like. I like that better. I think
it's a smart play because the Hearthstone and Magic model, while generous, requires you to play an ungodly amount of hours.
Yeah.
That's kind of why I quit Arena, because it was fun to play, but I felt like it was chores. And
right.
I'm like, I'm not into that.
Yeah.
I have other games
like
to play.
A job. Yeah. But
so if you kind of log in and just get your cards and optionally buy, that's better.
You should.
I think that's better for them.
What I need is one of you or both of you to try it, so that I can just need some other people I know and trust's opinions, because I think I really like it, but I don't know why I do.
I mean, I've heard good things about it, so my opinion of the general consensus would be positive, because most of the people I've interacted with have had good things to say. But I'm not a huge card game player, but I mean, I don't know. I dabble in Hearthstone enough that I might give it a go.
What I like about it is it feels like it's leaning into tactics and turn-based elements more than just it being a card game. If that makes sense. It's hard to explain. Like, the aesthetic of that is so leaned into with Hearthstone This feels more like you're setting up scenarios of attack and defense and honestly, the way I'm describing it, I normally don't even like that sort of thing necessarily. I mean, maybe I do, like XCOM wise, I do, I guess, when it's that kind of tactics and that kind of turn based. But there's a little bit of that in here too, I guess. Maybe I don't know. You guys should try it. It's free. It's an open beta. I have it on some authority that I can't talk about, but I know somebody who I know who would know says that we're going to see mobile versions very soon. See it on tablet soon. See it on Mac soon. All that stuff.
Yeah, that's not surprising.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Anyway.
I don't know. We'll see about that. I had a little bit of I've backed away from the JPEG brawler, mainly because of Arena, actually, because I was playing that for a while and really enjoying it. We talked about it on the show, but my mouse was starting to hover on the spend $100 to get a pile of packs because I wanted to build a specific deck, and there's no way I'm going to build it. You know what I mean? And I'm like, I've been down this magic road before. I don't want to spend $200 every 4 to 8 weeks on virtual. I can't do it. So
maybe this would be more for you then, because this is more like Heroes.
They're going to find another way to get me. I'm very weak.
No, I understand. I understand. They got to make
play
their
Black
money.
Desert Online, and I got to buy $20 dress.
How did you make that Michael Jackson, by the way? How was that even a thing?
I didn't make it.
Oh, I thought you made it.
No, but let's not dispel the legend that we've created on Twitter. I just posted it because I saw it. I guess, I don't know. I guess everyone thought I made it, but I didn't. I was just sharing a meme, but it didn't look like a meme, so my bad, everyone.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Interesting.
But you can build things like that in Black Desert Online.
I think I'm being bot followed because my follows are freaking out on Twitter.
That's what chat room's saying.
Yeah, that's exciting.
Yeah, I'm looking at it on the screen. It's just one after another. Boom, 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 boom.
It's been going for a while.
Yeah, I think I'm getting botted.
Why would someone do that?
I don't know what the point
Make
of that
a little
is.
graphic appear on the screen constantly.
Like, I could see if somebody paid to have that, but I know Scott hasn't done that.
No,
so
hell no.
Why are you like, well, let's just test out our bot by following somebody? I don't know.
Well, my favorite part is I can just do that and no one can see it. So
and disabled.
Yeah, disabled, like no big deal. But
I mean, you can run a script, I assume, to create all those fake accounts. It's a program, right? And
oh yeah, it's just a bot.
Ways around the detection of the scripts, and
yeah,
but yeah, it happens on Twitch a lot.
That's how you know when something's popular. Somebody has figured out a way to, people start gaining the system and making fake accounts, and it's a sign that Twitch is a big, healthy, thriving business.
I mean, there's
the internet. You gotta do your equivalent. When it was me growing up, I had to get the wares for AOL that would let me spam the chat room or try and get somebody kicked if we were talking on instant messenger and stuff like that.
Sure.
Yeah. Well, my site for Good Bad Bull got hacked. It turned into a Viagra selling website because I learned that WordPress is immensely popular, and so there are bots. Like, I installed defense software now, and I'm like, literally some butthole person has set things up that they're trying to brute force my account like thousands of times a day, all kinds of attempted login. I'm like, this is happening, and I just want to be like, leave me alone. But it's a robot, right? So
I
just do it.
Butthole blunt force person is a great title for something.
Anyways,
I like it.
Yeah. So
I like that a lot.
It's
well, anyway, so there's the games I've been playing. John, tell me about the patch for Star Wars Battlefront 2, because I do enjoy that game, and I didn't know there was a patch. What's the big deal here?
There's a patch. They added 2 new heroes. They added, and it's a little weird, but they added BB-8, and I don't remember the name of the evil BB-8. I only remember the nickname, which was BB Hate, which was the Black First Order version of it.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So that's in there now. Okay. And here's the thing: Bo made a sound, and I kind of agreed with the sound when I heard that they were putting BB-8 in there. It's like, really?
Yeah.
You don't have Ahsoka, but you're gonna put BB-8 in the game?
Mm-hmm.
I played as BB-8, and playing as BB-8 was super fun. I didn't know that I wanted it, but it turns out it's ridiculously fun. It feels immensely powerful. You just roll around and you electrocute stormtroopers to death, and it feels really good. his abilities are he puts out a little scan that reveals enemies to your allies, and he can also ram into people and knock them down. His main attack is he just electrocutes you, and it does a ton of damage, so he just electrocutes people to death. And then he kind of does Reaper's finishing move from Overwatch, where those little, like, you know, the little whips that he caught himself in the Millennium Falcon with to suspend himself in the air.
Yep.
Those pop out, and he just spins in a circle, and they just whip in a circle all around him, and he just kills everybody around him. And he's very fast, and he jumps, and he dashes, and he does all the hero things, but you're a little rolling ball, and it is incredibly fun. So it was kind of, I was with Bo 100% when I was like, really? They're adding BB-8? But he's super fun to play. He's probably my favorite hero to play, just because, I don't know, when I play as like Anakin or something, I'm like, all right, well, this is a popular hero that's really good. I feel like I should do good, and then I'm dead in 2 seconds. So I'm like, well, that was a disappointment.
Yeah.
I played as BB-8, and I did fantastically. So I got a lot of kills, and I helped my team, and I felt good about it, and I didn't feel the pressure of having to perform as a Jedi really well.
Who's the other hero?
It's like BB-9E or something like that.
Some other rolling deal.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's basically, you can tell they put a lot of time and effort into BB-8, and they were like, well, we can't just do it once. This was a lot of work. Let's make another one.
Yeah.
And so they made a first order version, which is a little less damagey and a little more support. But BB-8's great. The other thing they did is one of the most popular game modes is that capital supremacy. I know that we've all played. It's where you're down on the planet, then you go up to the ship, and it can kind of get into a tug of war. But as you guys know, that was only ever Clone Wars. You were either clones or robots,
right.
And that was it. They've now added the they've now added the sequel trilogy to Capital Supremacy, so you can queue for one, the other, or both, and you can play all the First Order and Resistance on those same maps, or not those same maps, on new maps for that era.
Okay.
So,
cool.
Because I would want to play as Kylo Ren in that mode, and it sucked that we couldn't.
And you can now, and he's a good hero. So is Rey. I'll be BB-8 because he's a blast. He's a ball.
Does he just run up and thumbs up to people?
He's a ball blast.
He's a ball blast.
Yeah, he's a ball blast.
He does do the thumbs up.
Great.
That is an emote you can get for him.
Of course.
And
shot.
it's good. Other than that, it's mostly just balance stuff. The new maps have definitely kind of restructured who's a good hero and who's not. For example, the First Order had a flame trooper that was kind of useless because most of the maps in the game are big, wide open spaces.
Right.
But now on Capital Supremacy, there's a lot of corridors and stuff like that. So all of a sudden, that class is now feeling very overpowered, and it's good. It's been a lot of fun. So a lot of new excitement to that game. I continue to play it, and I'm having a ton of fun with it. I'm getting quite good.
I imagine you are.
So far I have yet to break into the top 5, the little screen where they acknowledge the best 5 players on both teams, but I have been in the top 3 on my team.
Oh, that's pretty good.
So I'm getting there. I'm getting decent at this game.
That's progress. I actually meant to play it a bunch this week, but I had this weird problem where my E drive, I have a second SSD in my machine, was full, and I didn't realize it. And it was saying,
massive game.
It's like, you better uninstall some things. And I'm like, well, what do I uninstall? And I'm like, that thing is so big. I could put it on my D drive, but I don't think I can move it. Just move it. So I guess I have to delete it and reinstall it. So I deleted it and then started the reinstall and just haven't finished it. The reinstall. But I plan to keep playing. I like that game. It's very good.
Yeah. The same happened to me. I had to clear it to make room too. It's too big.
Hard drives, man. Hard drives are the worst. But we talked a lot about Warcraft 3. Any other additional stuff you want to say about it, since that's pretty much all you played?
We've covered that, and that's pretty much all I played. Like, I mainlined it. No BDO.
No BDO?
Warcraft 3.
No BDO.
Ready for Warcraft 4.
Nice.
That's a good question.
Let's get to emails then. We got one here from Troy Thorson. That's kind of a cool name.
Yeah, son of Thor.
Yeah. Troy Thorson, son of Thor. Says this. Here's the subject. Core on 130. So it's an episode we did on the 30th of January. He says, just wanted to chime in on the on the guinea pig discussion. Hairless G-pigs are affectionately known as skinny pigs, and they are in fact adorable. Because we talked about naked guinea pigs with no hair.
I know. I love people give us crap. They're like, why aren't you talking about video games? Because clearly people are passionate about many things.
Yeah, then they send us these emails. Anyway, it says the only caveat to owning them is that they often can develop mild skin conditions, just like a human or any other hairless mammal. This includes things like sunburn. That's so funny to think of a sunburn. I don't know. It's not funny. I don't want it to suffer, but the idea of a sunburned skinny pig is funny. That's kind of funny, right? Just a little bit. What if you put like a sticker on his back, put him outside, brought him in, pulled the sticker off, you got a little star-shaped white guy thing.
That doesn't make it better, Scott.
I don't know why I thought of that. It sounds fun.
Isn't it cancerous to do that? Don't do that to skinny pigs.
Yeah, I assume skinny pigs are just as susceptible to that as we would be, right? Anyway,
guess.
unless you're my
They
brother.
don't live as long, so maybe they don't care.
My brother Matt, who's Korean, I have 3 Korean siblings. They can stay in the sun all day and just nothing happens to them, and they piss me off. I'm like that too. Yeah. Oh, sure.
I'm not Korean, but I've got.
Do you just bronze up?
Yeah, I can be at. I used to work at when I worked for Dick of All Trades, the interlock company. I think I've talked about it before.
It was really called Dick of All Trades.
Yeah, because my friend, Michael's dad, Richard, aka Dick, it was just Dick. It was 2 guys.
You worked for
Dick and me.
You worked for Dick.
Yeah.
Got it.
And he called his little business Dick of All Trades.
Okay.
And so when I worked for Dick of All Trades, 8 o'clock in the sun till 5 o'clock in the sun.
Yeah.
Brown, but not red. Looking good. 5 days a week.
Wow.
Don't you remember when Bo was on the show and he just had the like Klingon head going?
Yeah,
I don't burn. I can stay out in the sun 24 hours.
You're a lucky guy.
Very fortunate, because most people I know are like red and like, it hurts. It's so hurting.
Yeah,
like,
I'm
I
a huge white guy.
turned on my flashlight app and I was red for hours.
John and I have this. We are very Scandinavian, very Northern European, and the problem is one day John or I, one of us, is going to get a mole that shouldn't be there, and we're going to have it looked at, and the doctor's going to say, "Well, better get that off before it spreads to your brain." That's just the way it's going to be, because we're white, horrible white men.
Mm-hmm.
And
that needs to be a commercial for sunblock. Like John shows up with a red square on his face, and his coworker goes, "Hey, you're up late looking at your phone last night?" And John's like, "No, why?" And it's just a red square on his face, and it's like, "Bye."
You can actually see the little app squares within it, different shades.
That sounds right. Sure, why not? Anyway, I found a funny Dick line here. Hold on.
Dick poop.
If I can find it, where is it?
Dick poop. Dick Pope for Mr. Turner.
Oh, Dick Poop. Hold on.
Cheese Dick. I know that one. How about that?
No, not that.
Dick Digit.
No.
Oh, you're too heavy to be a clever dick.
Well, hold on. No, not that. I can't find the one I wanted.
You think he's a bit of a dick?
I have a lot of dick lines. A lot of dick stuff. Listen, Tom Merritt even said it.
Dick.
All right. See?
Wow.
Yeah. Here's one from Terminator.
Todd and Janelle are dicks.
Remember that? That was the thing.
Yeah.
Yeah. Something about a bag.
This is a bag of dicks.
What's that from?
I don't know, but I got so many.
This is a bag of dicks.
I have so many things. Here's another one.
It's a tiny man. No bigger than my marionette, Dick Digit.
Yeah, Dick Digit. Anyway.
That could be edited to be really funny.
I also
At least 2 different ways. It's a tiny dick. No bigger than my dick.
You could totally mash it up. Don't give me ideas. I don't need ideas. It's just going to ruin my day tomorrow. Too many dumb things I want to do. When I'm not making dumb gifs, I'm editing dick lines.
Make a good, what is that new Vine? It'd make a good bite.
Oh, bite. Yeah, I've been using
make
bite.
a little drawing of a man named Dick and then a man named something else. And
I kind of like bite. I'm sort of into it. It reminds me of Vine because it's literally Vine. But
yeah, I like it better than TikTok.
Oh yeah, way better. It's way more creative.
I install TikTok because you link cool stuff. I don't know how you find it. TikTok is always like a teenage girl and the same song. Amy to me, and then an old person comes in and they're like, "Join us!" and me. And I'm like, "Oh, what is this thing? I gotta get
I know it sucks. Here's the thing about TikTok: if you do it long enough and you really search out the stuff you like, the algorithm will eventually serve you. You will actually start getting only things that you kind of are into. However, it takes forever, and you got to skip through a lot of teenage dancers, which is not.
Yeah, like at least Byte has a category, so you're like, sweet anime, and it's just all people.
Yeah,
it's just epilepsy
or video
I'm like,
games or
sweet.
whatever. Yeah, like you
Yeah,
just get to
yeah.
watch something you want to watch. I like that. I hope they can stick with it. It's the co-founder of Vine, so it's literally Vine.
Yeah, it feels like Vine, but with a different coat of paint.
Yeah,
I like it.
Here's Veronica.
Veronica, why are you pulling my dick?
Okay, great. Not really. I thought that was Veronica Belmont, but it wasn't. I don't know what that's from.
I also like dicks quite a bit.
Okay, cool.
Who said that?
I don't know.
That
Mitt
sounded like
Romney?
Jesse the Body Ventura right there.
Well, let's see it
I
again.
also like
like
dicks
dick.
quite a bit.
I don't know why. Have you ever heard the doo-doo one? Hold on. Have I played this for you guys?
Doo-doo dick.
Oh no, it's somebody died and then they couldn't. What was
Yes,
it?
you have played
yeah,
this.
yeah, I
This
know
is
this
great.
one.
It was Mega Doo-doo, wasn't it? Mega.
Yeah, say it again. Play
Oh,
again.
here it
We'll
is.
hear
It's
it.
real
Look at
great.
it.
This reporter could not read this person's name. Here you go.
Hundreds gathered today to say their final goodbyes to this fallen Louisville police officer, D.D. Megadoodoo.
She was so wrong. Dee Mega
Mega
Doo-doo. If I was her family, I'd be so pissed at that local station, man.
She probably had to go to the bathroom, and it just overwhelmed her.
The thing is even knowing what she said, and even knowing that I should rein it in, and that this is about a death, and I should be serious, I can't help it. It makes me laugh every time.
I
D.D. Megadoodoo.
Part of it is that pause between Dee and Mega Doo-doo. Like, as she listen,
Because you know in that pause,
Yeah.
the world is shattering in her mind at this moment.
Oh, yeah,
She's
totally.
walking full steam ahead into
Yeah.
chaos.
She's just driving it in.
There's little alarms going off, going, "Don't do it, don't do it, don't do it. It's a mistake, it's a mistake," and she's still just moving forward.
Yeah, right where that pause happened is where her brain got the loudest.
D.D. Megadoodoo.
She takes a second to breathe.
Doo-doo.
She goes, Dee Mega Doo-doo. Oh, man. So good. Anyway,
Like,
sorry.
Anchors all the time are like, I don't know if I'm saying this correctly. Like, it takes 2 seconds to, I don't know. Anyway.
I didn't even get through this email. What am I thinking? All right. He
Wait,
says,
Skinny Pete.
yeah, he says they get skin conditions,
Pete.
but he wanted to go on and say, this includes things like sunburn, dermatitis. Oh, that's where we got off rails, was sunburn.
Yeah.
Dermatitis, regular old dry skin, he says. Just be aware that if you ever do get one, you will occasionally need to lotion them up like grandma at the beach, which of course feels like lotioning up grandma. Cheers. I want one. I want a skinny pig. I really actually do. I want a little naked, hairless skinny pig. Is that bad that I want one?
You should get a sugar glider, Scott.
No, they stink. They smell bad.
They
What's
do.
a sugar glider?
They're a shitty thing, right?
No, they're okay.
Are they?
I didn't like the one I had, but
what was wrong with yours? Why didn't you like it?
Well, the whole thing was like that we were sold a bit of a bill of goods. They were like, they're extremely social, they bond to you, they're very loyal. Ours did not bond to us. I think we got one that was bonded to somebody else, because ours just hated the shit out of us from the moment it showed up. It was just like, don't look at me, don't touch me.
Oh my
I'm
god,
not gonna
these
be
things
the-
are...
I'm not going to be the
Sorry.
cute thing that was in the video. Like, I'm going to just hate you and make the most horrifying sound
They're
if
like
you
flying-
just even get near us.
They're like flying monkeys, basically, right? Like those
I've
flying
never
squirrels.
seen one of these or heard of these before.
They're
adorable.
supposedly the creature that the Mogwais were based on for Gremlins.
Oh,
The sugar gliders.
really?
Yeah.
That kind of explains a lot. Maybe not.
There's also a lot of real dumb rules with them. That's probably where they got that from.
Man, I love
Rules?
Gremlins.
Yeah. Like
Oh, in
you
the
gotta,
movie,
you
yeah.
gotta. They're up late. and
Yeah,
there's-
that's probably why, right? They do have to be picky with those.
Yeah.
They're up late. You can't, if you don't do a certain thing, they'll pee on everything they see.
Yeah.
They're not an animal you want.
They're not
okay.
super great. I don't actually recommend it as a pet. Other people seem to have great experiences with them. I had one that was a demon in a very cute little body, but you wouldn't know it because it was mean.
Sugar demon.
Yeah.
Well, there you go. I don't know why they call them sugar gliders. I know they glide, but what's
they
the
like
sugar?
sweet stuff.
Oh,
They're like way into fruit and anything that's very sweet.
sweet things. Okay.
Yeah.
I didn't know that. That's why their pee stinks. All right. Well, that's it for that email.
I guess that makes me a pizza glider.
That makes you a pepperoni glider, right? You love the
Yeah,
pepperoni.
pepperoni glider. That's true. I eat a lot of pepperoni, a lot of blueberries. That's my diet.
I love that.
That was such a pure, innocent, bad joke right at the end of the show.
Yeah, it was great. I loved it. It was well done. All right. Well, that's it for the show, everybody. Had a great time tonight. Hope you all at home did as well. If you like what you hear on the show, hey, support us over at patreon.com/core show. Did you know we put our pre and post show up there as a bonus, and only you get it if you sign up, and you can do it for as low as $1. Like, it's ridiculously cheap for way more extra content. And by the way, as far as bonus shows go, we do way longer stuff on Core than any other show I do this with. So hop on over there and do it. That's patreon.com/core show. And if I might just indulge you all in a quick little promo of my own, I started a new webcomic this week called Fred and Can. And yes, it's exactly what it sounds like. It's about a guy named Fred and his can of expired cream corn. It's sentient, though, and talks to him. Or does it? You'll have to find out at fredcancomic.com, or you can find it at frogpants.com. That comes out every Monday, maybe more if I hit a certain level on my Frogpants Patreon. We'll see. But if you like comics and you want to get it, you can. It's on Instagram. It's on Facebook. It's on its own site. It's on an RSS feed. I put it everywhere that you might be. So go check it out and let me know what you think of Fred and Can at fredcancomic.com. I think that's it.
It's great. I liked it. I'm looking forward to it.
Thanks. It's a little odd, but that's what you have to do these days to do anything new under the sun. You know what I mean? Like, it's hard to...
I like odd. Odd is good.
Odd is good. Plus, I have a lot of great ideas for stories, and I don't know. I think it's going to go places
That's the
that'll
part that
surprise
intrigues
people.
me the most. It's called Fred and Can. Where do
Yeah.
you go with it? Scott's like, I got tons of ideas, and I'm like, I'm glad you do.
Yeah, and it may seem kind of psycho, and it is, but it's also there'll be poignant moments. There'll be moments of fun laughter, and there'll be other moments of sadness, maybe even. It'll be a comic that'll stick with you. That's the goal. And it really is about a guy in a can of cream corn. Who
you
knows?
think someday this could turn into a movie with Mark Wahlberg and Will Ferrell as a can of corn?
Oh, I forgot they
Hoisting
did.
the can of corn.
He did that with a teddy bear, I guess.
I don't know who played the teddy bear. Was it Will Ferrell?
No, that was Seth
Seth
MacFarlane.
MacFarlane.
Yeah.
Oh, there you go.
It's Peter Griffin, basically.
We're
Anyway,
not there yet, but just saying.
it's all good. Anyway, so check it out, and thanks for everybody who's checked it out already. I appreciate all the support and nice comments. Don't forget, you can leave us voicemails on the show, 801-471-0462. I need to actually play one of those soon. And you can also leave us messages at the website, frogpants.com/core. Find us on Twitter, John_Jagger, Scott Johnson for me, and Bo Schwartz. His name is B-E-A-U, Schwartz, on Twitter. I see a lot of B-O's out there. That is incorrect. B-E-A-U. Boy, I'm sure.
The French word for handsome.
Is it really? Is that really what it is?
Yeah.
What's
Have I told you what my name in English means?
No,
we
what
must
is
have
it?
talked about
No, what does it mean?
Bo is French for handsome. Schwartz is German for black. My
Oh.
English name is Handsome Black.
You're a handsome black man. That's what you're saying.
Yeah,
Okay.
exactly.
So you're the.
There's no man in my name. There are Schwartzmans.
Yeah.
I think that's the last name. I'm not Schwartzman. I'm just Schwartz.
Not like Schwartz, like Jason Schwartzman. Not like him.
Right, exactly. I'm
Okay.
not that.
All right. That's great. John, anything you'd like to add to that?
I like that I have become a cool sepia tone portrait here at the end of the show.
Yeah.
I'd like to thank my new camera for deciding that if I don't have the white show notes pulled up, I apparently get to be in the olden days. So, hello everybody from 1902.
My dearest Martha.
Yeah, there's your dearest Martha right there. That makes sense to me. All right. Well done, everybody. Thank you all for watching us. Again, we'll be back next time with a whole nother show. We look forward to it, as we often do. We hope you look forward to it as well. Thank you for your support of the show. That'll do it for us, for me, for John, for Bo. We'll see you next time. This show is part of the Frog Pants Network. Wrong one. This is the one I want to play.
This show is part of the Frog Pants Network. Yes. Get more at frogpants.com.
Barry.
Barry.
DD Mega Boob Doo.
Boob